Sahana bhavatu sahanau bhunaktu saha viryankaravavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. On Arjuna's request, Krishna agreed that I will show the vision, Vishwarupa. Then he said, to see that Vishwarupa, you need special eye. With your normal eye, you cannot see. So I'll give you special eye. With the special eye, you can see. He has given that special eye, and now Arjuna has to get adjusted to that eye. So you get your surgery done. Takes time, no, to get adjusted. And the new spectacles, you go to the ophthalmologist. They put a one and say, how is it now? Say, no, access to be adjusted. So many adjustments are needed. Now they can't give a break in the text. So to fill the gap, Sanjaya comes. Sanjaya comes. And he already has that. Right? He has a vision. Sanjaya has a vision already. Because he is the one who has mastery over his senses already. That's what the name of Sanjaya. Sanjaya is a counselor and a personal assistant. Come driver. Driver, come counselor, come assistant to Dhritarashtra. Not only that, Sanjaya is a disciple of Vyasa, remember. This one we will keep on saying, Karna is treated as Sutaputra. He is low. Sanjaya also the same class only. Nowhere no one insulted Sanjaya. Every one of them had great respect to him. Nowhere in Mahabharata you'll find anyone speaking in a demeaning manner to Sanjaya. Everyone respected him, valued him. What is? He is also a driver only, actually speaking. There is one, weird ideas people have these days. So Karna has been, discriminated because of there's no evidence to it. It's all make beliefs. You are made to believe it. But anyway, Sanjaya is this. So Sanjaya can straight away see. One. Another thing we see here is there is a time gap always between, growth. Krishna is growing into that Vishwarupa. So he is going, like you see in the movies, no? Vishwarupa becomes, the camera will come closer. Like that. It's taking that time. All that this means is that entire dramatization that you are going to see from Sanjaya's statements. Dramatic ones. His description. Remember, there are three people describing Vishwarupa. What you have to see in this chapter is that Krishna says he describes Vishwarupa. Sanjaya describes Vishwarupa. Arjuna describes Vishwarupa. All three describe Vishwarupa. All three descriptions are different. You need to understand. What is Arjuna seeing? Just comes and fills it. Every master performs certain miracles. All masters do it. You will not, there is no exception. Every master. And what we don't understand is it's not that they are doing it. They just function normal. For us, it looks like a miracle. Like in schools, we see one or two students. I used to wonder what is inside. I'm also having head. He also has head. I'm also having brain. He also has brain. Say, how is it that, before professor could even explain concept, he understands. Not only he understands, the fellow can explain better than the professor. Unbelievable. Say, what is inside that? Used to wonder, like that it is. It's natural for them, but for you and me, it's like, you cannot connect. You see, wherever we see our inability to establish a link as cause and effect, we call it miracle. See, miracles is nothing but a positive effect for which you do not know the cause. We call it miracle. Negative effect for which you do not know the cause, you call it as fate. No one says it's a fate we won the World Cup. Have you ever heard? 1983 World Cup. A fate. West Indies will say that. A fate, man. Can you believe a team such as this winning against a team such as that? But no Indian has ever said. Why? We called it as miracle. Miraculously, we won. 60 overs, 187 runs. 83, 183 runs. 60 overs, 183 runs. In 2020 is 183 is easy for people to finish now. We're talking about 60 overs. Look at the batting lineup. Any one fellow will finish the match. Dujan will finish the match. We don't need, batsmen. Team. Remember, miracle means a positive effect. You can't identify the cause. Since you are not able to identify the cause, we start calling it as supernatural. So we think these people are doing something supernatural. Some supernatural power is there. Some extra power they have. There's nothing extra power they have. They just have power. That's it. It's just a state of your being. If you are in that state, things happen automatic. This is where people fall, for such miracles. Exaggerated expressions. And those who are weaker in spiritual stature will need greater expression. Lesser your evolution, greater the manifestation needed for you to get inspired. On your own, you will not get inspiration. There's no inspiration on your own. Went to, last week I was in few places he had been to. About, easily I would say about, 700 to 800 people standing in the queue. Easy. We cross all that and we go there, right, to see the deity. Maybe half a second given to see. They are doing some ritual there, and we had to wait till they open. And a man who is standing next to the deity and fanning the deity, right? I was not having my mobile inside. A lot of them held with them, but I said no. I thought made a mistake. I should have. Fellow standing next to the deity, he's fanning the deity and yawning. But yeah. The fellow standing, I told them, look at that fellow. Don't look at the deity. Waste of time. You will not learn anything. You will not get inspired. I got inspired looking at that fellow. Fanning the deity, for which there are 700 people standing out for hours together to get a glimpse. Can't get inspiration. And as we see these devotees, great bhaktas, one look at the deity, they collapse. Fellow refused to go to temple. One devotee, he said, I'm not coming. He will come to the temple, but he will not look at the deity. He will come to the temple, he will not look at the deity. His wife was, so worried. What is this fellow's weird behavior? This is insult to God. All that. One day, by mistake, he saw the deity and the fellow collapsed. He saw the deity and collapsed. Went unconscious. They took him out and revived him, and they thought, something and all that. I told you people, I will not look at that fellow. I can't see him. One look at him. Can you take? How can you see the beauty and be normal? That's a different devotee. We also go to temple. You see the deity, and what happens? Nothing happens. And you will see there and say, what a beautiful sunrise, sunset. At best, what you do, take a picture. That's all. Nothing more. Take one selfie also nowadays. Earlier, they used to take a picture of that. Now they take a selfie. That's the only difference. You don't get anything out of it. Even a sunrise, sunset is not inspiring to you. So what do you need? You need to go to Himalayas or to see that snow peak and that sunrise and sunset hitting that snow peak and dazzling colors that it shows. The display of that color, the reflection, looks amazing. Say, wow. For you to say, wow, what do you need? That also, how long you can say, wow? Such a beautiful one. Okay, stop the car and keep looking at it. Say, we have to go. You cannot. That's what the spiritual caliber is all about. Your ability to see the fine and get inspired. People will get inspired only when they see such spectacular demonstration. Big demonstration has to be there. Greater the demonstration, greater. We have to do all that, decoration to be done, drama to be done, lighting to be done, like a disco. You are giving a lecture series. The lecture series, why do you need a disco light? One light focusing there, one light focusing here. Decoration on the stage. Then what is it? Accessories, huh? Whatever they keep in the dance program, the accessories. Some term they use. The dance program, when you go to Bharatanatyam or any classical, not spotlight, the items they keep something all around. Props. Props. For a dance program, you have a prop. There's a meaning. Lecture the fellow is giving. And there's a prop around. You're going to sing. That's it. You just go sit and sing. Full stop. Why do you need props around now? See, now you see the props has to be different colors, different things there on the stage. Why that is needed? Was it there? As early as my memory goes, wasn't there. Temple, Vedanta used to have Kabalishwara temple. Month of May, April, May, they'll have the yearly chariot festival will be there for 10 days. Utsava will happen for 10 days. After the 10 days, they'll have this music concerts. That's where I got introduced to music first. These people will come and sing. Madurai Somo, I heard there first time. Why the fellows crying instead of singing? Think they're so small. Think there. 5 fellows will be sitting around him, and play. No props, no nothing. Now you go to the concerts, so much of props all around. Yeah. Music Academy also you go to this. Nothing. Why you need all that? People no longer buy a car for the engine. People buy a car for the accessories, interior. What all is there? Extra. That's not essential in the car. Essential thing in the car is the engine. Same engine. Difference does it make? Go for a better engine, no? No. Accessories. Extra fittings. You need that excessive expression. Even among couple, every day, morning, noon and night, you have to say, I love you, I love you, I love you. So 3:30, the secretary has to go, remind this fellow, sir, it's time to call your wife. For what? He'll ask. To say you love her. Oh, give me the phone. Sir is on the line. Secretary will dial. You won't even dial actually. Secretary will dial after she picks up the phone. I love you, honey. Give the phone down. Weird expressions. Why do you want miracles in life? Arjuna wanted miracle. Show me. And then it takes time for him to see. Now Sanjaya sees that straight away and he starts describing that. Let's see what Sanjaya says about the miracle. Cosmic form. verse 10.
अनेकवक्त्रनयनम् अनेकाद्भुतदर्शनम् अनेकदिव्याभरणम् दिव्यानेकोद्यतायुधम् अनेकवक्त्रनयनम् अनेकाद्भुतदर्शनम् अनेकदिव्याभरणम् दिव्यानेकोद्यतायुधम्.
With many mouths and eyes, with many marvelous visions, with many divine ornaments, with many uplifted divine weapons. The Bhagavad-gita we have been telling time and again caters to emotional category, also to intellectual category. Right. Now here first we see the devotional aspect. Devotional aspect here is just that wonderment. Aneka, aneka, aneka. Goes on saying aneka, aneka, aneka. A lot. Very many. And also it is not only in terms of quantity, in quality is also it is of a superior nature. It's not just the quantity. Aneka. It's not just for number. It's qualitatively also. It is superior in nature. He says many mouths and eyes. Many marvelous visions. Aneka adbhuta darshana. Aneka divyabharana. Straight away he goes to the abharana, the jewels, what he is wearing. Divine ornaments. What are these? They are of divine nature. Not only that, he has many divine weapons. And how those divine weapons are uplifted. Not just holding it. Right? It's ready to be used. Right? It's not just having it. Just have to say, go. That's it. He'll shoot. So he says, I have very many such things. So one group of people see this. Another set of people who are intellectual in nature will start analyzing into what is the meaning of that. What's the meaning of very many mouths and eyes? What is the meaning of marvelous visions, ornaments, weapons? What does it signify? What Vedanta says is, don't get lost either in the devotional or in the intellectual. Carry both. Understand it from both the sides. Only when you try to understand it from both angles, you get a grasp of what he's trying to communicate. Mind alone cannot. Intellect alone cannot. You need mind and intellect together to comprehend it. Still, it would not be possible. That is independently true. But then the attempt has to be made by both. Not purely emotional or devotional or intellectual. It has to be both actually. So when he is speaking from the devotional aspect, what is it? The glory of the form, the cosmic form, is spoken of eloquently. The eloquence with which you speak. shows devotion. That shows your emotion there. Intellectually, when you come, we say, what is mouths? Mouth signifies all organs of action. Eyes signify organs of perception. Collective usage. When they refer to one, it's to the whole group. So when they say mouth, it refers to all organs of action. Same way, when they say eyes, it means all organs of perception. So organs of perception, organs of action put together. Experiencer. Right. So in this, he is referring to the experiencer, intellectual. Then when he says with many marvelous visions, he is referring to very many wonderful experiences. So the experiencer and the experiences. Then the next one is the experienced. What is experienced? How the transcendental reality is merging into one, where the experiencer, experienced, and the experience, all three in one, which is impossible to comprehend. You're all with me. See, when you understand it as three, experiencer, experienced, and the experience. Correct, sir. But then what Sanjaya says is, all three I'm seeing together in one form. That most of us will miss. See, when you say experiencer, experienced, and experience, they are three, isn't it? Only when they are three, such a thing is possible. Correct. If I have to see you, I am the experiencer. You have to be away from me as an object to be experienced, and the connection between you and me is the experience. Seeing. In this case, seeing. In your case, it is seeing and hearing. Right? Put together. Now, what Sanjaya says is, I am seeing all these three together. What is the nature of experience? The nature of experience is this. There are two types of experiences you can have. Two types of powerful possibilities. One, pleasant, happy. Another one, painful, suffering. Signified by divine ornaments and weapons. Divine ornaments refers to peace, happiness, pleasant experiences. Weapons signify war. That's why he qualifies that by saying what? Uplifted, ready to strike. Because now the situation is in the war situation now. The war situation they are. So therefore he says they are ready to attack. This opposite, conceiving that possibility of these opposites existing together, is the intellectual aspect of it. Now, intellectual. You say intellectual doesn't mean, you are analytical and all that. It's not your analytical ability. Remember, intellectual means the person who has the capacity to understand the opposite and perceive those opposites existing together, intertwined. They are not disconnected. They are together only. They are not separate. They are one and the same. Now we understand pairs of opposites. We also experience pairs of opposites in life. There are pleasant moments in life. There are painful moments in life. There is joy. There is sorrow. Profit, loss. We understand profit is separate. Loss is separate. Peace is separate. War is separate. But what Sanjaya says is, the report he gives to all of us is, I am seeing the opposites coexisting in one form. The pleasure and pain, both I am seeing in one. Meaning, he is not experiencing pleasure or pain. Remember, he is not talking about that. He says, the pleasure and pain, both I am able to see in this one form. In which form? The form that is standing as a substratum for both, connecting both. I'm seeing both. The possibility of pleasure, the possibility of pain, both borrow its existence from the transcendental reality. That I am seeing. The idea is this. See, I am seeing, Sanjaya is not experiencing love or hatred. No, that's not what he's referring to. He is referring that love and hatred both borrow its existence from that reality. Because in that reality, I'm able to see both parallelly. That capacity demands a tremendous grounding in your personality. You need to have a solid intellect to see the opposite parallelly coming. It's like when a person is saying, I am so devoted to you, you should understand what? Just a question of time. The devotion is going to turn into hatred. Not suspicion. Immediately we think, it is suspecting the other person's genuinity. It's not that. You yourself don't understand what you speak. You say, I like you so much. I love you so much. It's just a question of time. That same love is going to turn into hatred. And when you are hating also, what you don't understand is what? The same hatred is going to turn into love after a point of time. It's just a question of time. Just blows hot and cold. When there is heat, you understand there is going to be monsoon. All dry everywhere. It's going to get wet everywhere. When it is wet, you have to understand what? It is going to be, there is going to be a scarcity of water. It's a question of time. It will happen. Your ability to see them coming together. And now what is the surface is love. The hatred I have towards you is hidden. What is in the surface now is anger, hatred. Right? What is hidden there? Your love and affection is hidden there. At any point of time, a layman can connect only to one. And if that layman were to see the opposites together, Arjuna, right? See what's going to happen to him. And Sanjaya reminds of this vision in the 18th chapter. See, he's not only describing now, he's describing this, he is referring to this form in the 18th chapter. Arjuna completely forgot that. By the beginning of the 13th chapter, right, he completely forgot the vision that he saw. And what is the consequence of such a vision? For Arjuna is different, for Sanjaya is different. Why that is same vision, but the impact is different on Arjuna and Sanjaya. Why? Because Arjuna is not ready. Sanjaya is fully qualified. He could see both parallel and then get inspired. Now, if you see that parallel, you get frustrated. You start suspecting people. Right? You cannot be having a genuine relationship after that. When someone comes and tells you, I love you, you'll laugh at it and say, I know, and go. You can't handle that. Right? Why? There's no maturity. There is no solid grounding in understanding. Now, Sanjaya is one who has a solid understanding. Therefore, he is able to perceive the opposites together existing and deriving their reality from the transcendental reality. So he's able to go right up to that. And that's why he says, Ashcharya. Aneka Vastrabala. So much, man. So many of them. So many of them. That wonderment. He's not a realized soul. He's a matured soul. That's all. Sanjaya is not a man of realization. He is not a jnani. He's just a man who has an understanding, which is more than enough for you to live your life. Too much that is. That is why we say Vedanta, you don't have to study a lot. 7-8% Vedanta is enough. What Swami used to say. What will happen after that? If you are an utter failure in Vedanta study, you will be the greatest teacher in the world. Extraordinary teacher in the world. You are a total failure. Pass mark is 35. No? Right. You get 5 marks, 7 marks if you get the exam. What that fellow will be? The one who failed totally. So we can't go back and tell him. And people come and tell also, oh, he teaches very well. I know. No, failure. Why? It's nothing to do with the person. What he's saying is the power of this knowledge, the power of this understanding. Sanjaya had very little only. That itself is huge for us. Very small one, but it looks so big. Even materially you can understand. No? See, beyond certain level, we can't distinguish the levels. You think everybody is coming by Mercedes. So you think, isn't it? Everybody has a big house. So you think everybody is same. No, they are not. The gap between him and the other person, huge gap, not a small gap. Huge. Thousands of crores is a gap. But can you see? You cannot see that. Same way. For us, even this itself looks like, my God, he must be realized. That means what? You have not understood what is the caliber of a jnani, a man of realization. A self-realized soul is totally different. Wilfully soul will not come and describe also. Magic loud. And drama. He would have said all drama. That's all. One verse he would have finished. But Sanjaya is not. He is a very devoted person, but at the same time, he is a matured individual. That maturity is what is making him see that together and not get perturbed. Not seeing that total blindness. Seeing that and getting agitated, getting disturbed, rajasic. Not able to see, tamasic. Blind. To see that and get disturbed, rajasic. To see the opposites together and not be disturbed by that, sattvic. Sanjaya is a sattvic person. 11.
दिव्यमाल्याम्बरधरम् दिव्यगन्धानुलेपनम् सर्वाश्चर्यमयं देवम् अनन्तं विश्वतोमुखम् दिव्यमाल्याम्बरधरम् दिव्यगन्धानुलेपनम् सर्वाश्चर्यमयं देवम् अनन्तं विश्वतोमुखम्.
Now he just continues to describe what all he's seeing. Wearing divine garlands and appear, anointed with divine scents and unguents, full of all wonders, resplendent, endless, with face on all sides, all poetry. Now he's moving into poetic expression. That's describing. It's resplendent. Devam. Anantam, endless. Vishwatomukam, another popular, construction you will find in the Shastras. Vishwatomukam means facing in all directions, meaning all pervading. That's all. Vishwatomukam. So here I said, two things. For the intellectuals, he uses two words. The devotional rest of it. Rest of it is all devotional people. That divine garland. Divine garland is a very rare, flowers. You are not with, many flowers and the scents that he has and this, that, all that is all that is of no boundary. For the intellectuals, he says endless. He is referring to what? Referring to Vishwarupa. Correct. He is seeing Vishwarupa, form. And then he says endless. Right. How can you have an endless form? See, there's no end to it. Because before the beginning, it is ended. Endless. Where is a beginning? Where is an end? Not able to fix. That's what he calls it as anantam. Formless. Means there's no boundary to it. There's no boundary. Now, a form means it should have a boundary. Only then it's a form. Otherwise, it's not a form. Has to be some boundary to it. Boundless. How can you call it as form? And he says it is infinite, all pervading. What is that? Vishwatomukam. Seeing in with face on all sides, seeing in all directions. He's able to see. He's there everywhere, he says. You just have to stay with it and visualize. See, this is like, visualization. Your ability to visualize. Imagine you see the movie RRR, come and explain to another person. How will you explain? Lord of the Rings. You watch the movie. You go and explain to another fellow. How will you explain? You say what? Must watch. Only when he watches, he can visualize. Otherwise, he can't visualize. It's not possible. See, similarly, Krishna is projecting this image to Arjuna. Why he is showing this image to Arjuna, you need to understand. Not just because Arjuna asked. Just because he asked, he's not going to say yes to it. See, he has to give him something. There is some messages there, something he wants to communicate. The communication is this, is to give Arjuna a mental strength and an intellectual conviction. He needs that strength to see the realities of life. And he should be convinced about the principles of life. He needs both. He's lacking both. He's genuine. He's intelligent. He's sincere. There's no doubt about it. Such a blemishless character you will find in the entire Mahabharata. Can't point finger at Arjuna at any point of time. Such a nice character. But then is lacking this. So Krishna has to give that to him. So Krishna is projecting this Vishwarupa. He's showing that Vishwarupa to give him that strength to perceive what he wants Arjuna to perceive. Not to show how great Krishna is. Krishna doesn't require Arjuna's certificate. Yeah, you are Purushottama only. He doesn't require Arjuna's certificate. Holding Arjuna's certificate, what is he going to get? It is of no use to Krishna actually. But then why he is showing? He showed that Vishwarupa to Duryodhana and others, Kauravas. For what? Agenda is not to educate them. You see, that's not the agenda. Now here the agenda is very different. The agenda here is what? To give Arjuna that mental strength to see the opposites. That's what you need to remember. You miss that point here, you will lose the entire context of 11th chapter. 11th chapter, Vishwarupa Darshana. What are you going to do that? Vishwarupa Darshana. In the temples also they have one darshan, Vishwarupa Darshan. Early morning, first darshan you have, it's called as Vishwarupa Darshan. Doesn't mean suddenly you're going to see him big and all that. It's nothing. What he is showing is this. He's showing the opposites. And to see that opposite, you need stamina, mental strength. At the same time, you need a conviction at the level of intellect to understand the realities of life. See, that's what the agenda is. So rest are all just, poetry. This is poetry. It's just to say that, divine garlands. Don't ask me, is it Parijata? What is the flower he is wearing? Yes. Yeah. Raymond. Huh? Raymond's. Louis Philippe. A local brand. My name. resplendent, it is dazzling. Alla poetry. 12.
दिवि सूर्यसहस्रस्य भवेद्युगपदुत्थिता यदि भासदृशी सा स्यात् भासस्तस्य महात्मनः दिवि सूर्यसहस्रस्य भवेद्युगपदुत्थिता यदि भासदृशी सा स्यात् भासस्तस्य महात्मनः.
If 1,000 suns were to arise all together in the sky, that splendor would be the splendor of that exalted being. Imagine the 1,000 suns. One sun mudila. No, this Madhyaniya Kala, this noon time, we do Sandhya. After the Sandhya, you are supposed to look at the sun. You can't sit and look at it. You need a mudra for that. Put a mudra and see. Through mudra only we see. You can't. Like we say, now this Grahana, eclipse time, the eclipse time is not full. It's getting covered. That itself you can't see. One sun rising itself is like this. Imagine 1,000 suns were to come up together simultaneously. Can you see? One sun you can't see. Right? 1,000 suns can you see? And say, what is it? You can't even see that, first of all. It's just a, this expression is a very popular expression in the scriptures, the Vedas. The 1,000 suns is a popular expression. 1,000 suns in the sense, now don't think literally 1,000 suns. Endless, thousands of it were to come simultaneously. What splendor that will have is the splendor of this vision, this Rupa, this form of Krishna, Vishwarupa. It's almost impossible. Why they have to go to such cases is, it's not a simple comparison, remember. Right? It's not a simple comparison. You have to imagine what it is and then compare it. Right? You have to imagine what? First, you have to imagine 1,000 suns rising. Right? Then that needs to be compared to Vishwarupa. What you know is one sun. Right? One sun rays. One sun rays is this much. You got to visualize 1,000. There itself you are out. Right? Exaggeration, nah. It's like actual exaggeration. But then that's the only way, because to explain, to describe the form is not possible. No words are adequate. No expression is adequate, because it is supernatural. It is transcendental in nature. Since that experience is transcendental in nature, so dazzling, the dazzling side of it renders it to be transcendental in nature. That dazzle, how do you understand that? You can't understand it. So what he has to do is this. So what he says 1,000 suns. Why? One example is not enough. One sun is not enough. So what he has to do is, he has to give an example of one and ask you to project it to 1,000. Can you project? That projection itself is gone for us, actually speaking. That is this. It's not upamana. You see, it's not a simple upamana. It is a special kind of upamana. Comparison. In usual comparison, you say what? My beloved's face is like a moon. Or we give the standard example. Chhatrapati Shivaji fought with Mughals like a tiger. Tiger, you know. Correct. There's nothing for you to project and visualize. Whatever your understanding of tiger is there. Whatever your understanding of moon is there. Right. But here that's not the case. Here in this comparison, what is interesting you need to observe is this 1,000 sun rising. Do you understand? Forget about the form. Don't worry about the form. 1,000 sunrise, do you understand? This comparison is not from any of our known experiences. See, this itself is an unknown experience for us. The 1,000 sunrise itself is unknown for us. Imagine if 1,000 suns were to rise. Earth will not be there. What will be here then? All the ashes only, molten rocks. There's no more water flowing in the river and ocean. Nothing will be there. None of us are going to be there. If 1,000 suns were to come up, that heat, this cannot be taken. So this comparison is not from any known. This itself is unknown to us. So they are flouting the very principle of unknown to unknown. Usual education is done how? Known to unknown. Now he is starting from unknown, is landing in unknown. But he is giving us a belief of as though we know. That's the success of poetry. That's why we call this as a poetic expression. You're all with me. Why we say this is poetic? Is only that poetic expression, such a thing is possible. In prose, in logical deduction, that's not possible. So he gives you a belief as though you have understood what? One part of it. Which part of it you understand? Nothing you understand. 1,000 suns were to rise to all together, not one by one. Makes it very clear. Not one by one coming up, so that you have time to adjust, nothing like that. All 1,000 suns were to come simultaneously up. What will be that splendor? This itself you don't know. What you know is what? One sun. From one sun can you project and understand 1,000 suns. From 1,000 suns you have to go to Vishwarupa. Fascinating. It's never going to happen. It's not that, at one point of time people saw that. Today we are not seeing it. Then it was there, sir. Nor is it going to be after few hundred generations later, people are going to see this. This situation, scenario is never going to happen. Right, number one. Number two is, it is not easy for any one of us to even visualize it and imagine it. It is difficult to the imagination of any individual. How much ever you try to sit back and think. So you are supposed to learn these things. These verses, how you are supposed to study is like this. Okay, 1,000 suns were to rise all together. I know one sun rising. Okay, now let me visualize it. What it would be for 1,000 suns to come up? You'll be sitting and counting 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't even know actually. I don't know whether any one of you have ever tried. Should try that actually. Should try and see what would be that intensity of light. Now, we all know the intensity of light at least. Candle light to the tube light. Actual tube light I'm saying. Then the floodlight, cricket match they have, the floodlight they have. This light, that light, and all that you understand. He says, what is the speed of the rocket? "27,000 kilometers. 27,700 and odd kilometers. It hits that speed in 15 minutes. Have you ever tried hitting 120 in the car? Driving? Have you touched 120? Huh? How long you stayed at 120? Minutes, sir. My God, where did you drive like that? 3-4 minutes to stay there must be you can qualify for Formula 1. 3-4 minutes means you know what? How many seconds? 180 seconds. 3 minutes means seconds. Get palpitations. Heartbeat will go 120, 180. Touch. 190 you touch. He says 27,700 and odd kilometer speed. It hits 15 minutes. Then what would be in the 14th minute? What would be here? What would be here? What is the speed at which he takes off? Takeoff speed will be what? The flight takes off around 250 kilometers. The runway goes. The speed takes off. Speed must be there. 120 to 27,000 kilometer speed. Calculate. You can't understand. That's it. You can't understand more than that. In 1 minute, they'll cover the entire earth. One round, they'll finish. Like Superman. He does that. He goes round. 1,000 suns. There's a pun in that. Remember, whenever the light intensity were to increase, there is a automatic impact it has on you. What is it? You close your eyes. You don't see. See that? He says, 1,000 suns were to rise. Is what I see. The law of eyes is what? That's why in the night driving, they say, don't look at the headlights. That's why a person who is sitting next to the driver will fall out to sleep faster than the driver. In the night. Night drive, the person sitting next to him will fall off. The driver may not fall off. Why? Because the driver will not look at the head-on lights. If you keep looking at the head-on lights, eyes closes automatic. It closes automatic, closes automatic. more the intensity of the light, your eyes closes. You don't see. Thousand suns were to rise all together. That is the splendor I saw. Is it possible? That's why we say he is referring to a supernatural transcendental experience. This is not natural experience. This is supernatural, we say. Why we call it a supernatural? What is the logic? This is the logic. Because wherever we see the intensity of light increasing, your eyes closes by itself. It cannot take it. Thousand suns were to rise means what? High intensity. Automatically it will close. It will shut. His eyes did not shut. Means what? It's not natural. It is something different from natural, which is what we call a supernatural. 13.
तत्रैकस्थं जगत्कृत्स्नं प्रविभक्तमनेकधा अपश्यद्देवदेवस्य शरीरे पाण्डवस्तदा तत्रैकस्थं जगत्कृत्स्नं प्रविभक्तमनेकधा अपश्यद्देवदेवस्य शरीरे पाण्डवस्तदा.
There, in the body of the God of gods, Pandava then saw the whole world with its manifold divisions resting in one. So he sees now. So the steps you have to see. 10, 11, 12, 13. It's a clear flow there. Verse 10, he is describing it. Intellectual description. 11 is intellect fails to describe in detail. So in giving the detail, it is attempting to stretch itself in 11. In 12, breakdown. Intellect breaks. In 13, realization. He sees now. Now, 10, 11, 12, 13. So intellect is attempting to describe. In the description, it is stretching itself. In that stretch, it breaks down. The previous verse, it's broken completely. It fails. It's established. That is proved in the 13th verse. There in the body, says he's seeing all that. It's a beautiful description, beautiful steps. In the body of the God of gods, Deva Devas, is the God of the gods. Gods, we have said many times, Deva means the phenomenal powers, personified. Personified phenomenal powers. It's called Deva. And Brahman is the substratum for those phenomenal powers to exist. It's all getting that power from him only. Or for it only. From it only. There's no gender for Brahman, but we say he, for communication purpose. It's neutral. So he gives this as a form of bhakti. The devotional aspect, this is intellectual side. Intellectual side is the steps. The devotional aspects, more and more you try to identify with that murti, with the deity. More and more you see. The way you see, usually we do is what? In the house, we give a separate place for God. That's all. He's there. Correct. That's the starting. There is a puja room. You have a puja mandap or puja thing. Last one to be planned in the house. When you're sitting and planning a construction, a house. Suddenly you realize, you puja room illiye, enna pandrathu? Under the staircase, there's a place. Now what to do? Put there. Nothing else can be used for. So you put there one. That's it. Now you have some room is there. You give a place for him. Then what happens? You connect to God only when you go and sit there. In other places, you don't see him. Puja room you keep. You go there. Then you understand, you connect to that God only in that form, in that place. From there, you have to start. The description is coming from the other direction. Okay. You cannot be moving in this direction. We have to go in the reverse order. The reverse order we have to go. Sanjay is describing from top to bottom. From east to west. You have to travel what? West to east. See, that's why they say, even this description, when you go to the temples, there is a way of seeing God, or the way of describing God. It's a male description is in one way. The female, the description is the other way. Male God description always starts from the feet. From the feet to the head. Female gods starts from the head to toe. Other way around. It is. All these are all the initial stages. You have to follow those things. Follow that steps carefully. All that you do and surrender. And surrender to that murti alone. Try to identify with that deity. Then comes this Advaita Bhakti. Bhakti always starts as Dvaita Bhakti. Unless you have the Dvaita Bhava, Bhakti is not possible. In the starting stage, the beginning, a matured Bhakti transforms itself into Advaita Bhava. Automatically. All the devotees that we are talking about, those devotees were all in that stage. So they come from there too. We go from here to there. So we need to read, devotional person has to read from 13, 12, 11, 10. Intellectual will read from 10, 11, 12, 13. We read this way, they read that way. Vedanta will do what? Both. Up and down. Full glance. Use both, he says. Oh, Deva Deva, you are the God of gods. You are the Lord of all the gods. Yes, there in the body of the God of gods, Pandava then saw the whole world with its manifold divisions resting in one. One form, he is seeing many divisions. Fragmentation. You have to start from this. Remember, that is bhakti. It starts with what? Divisions. is perceived, attempted in one. In that one deity, you see divisions. That's what I'm coming to. You may be wondering, what is he talking? I'm explaining only what is given. Manifold divisions resting in one. Then he saw that. What? When after all these things he sees, attempting. So a devotional person has to start. A layman has to start from where? I don't say that, all devotional people are laymen. Okay. I'm saying low level of devotion have to start from 13 and then progress upwards. You go up to 12, and 11, then 10. That's the progression here. But intellectually, if you say how this is happening, it's starting from 11, 12, 13. Starts from 10. Starts describing. Then he is stretching. In that stretch, breakdown. In the breakdown of intellect, realization is. Right. Not a mental case. Breakdown, broke down, mental realization. That is verse 13. See you next class.